Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to this absolute drivel we say. Oh, and thank you to our Mazza, YouTube, the great white master itself, to allow us back on. Thank you very much. Now, MC, I believe you have some news for us.
I do. Just a bit of news. Just a wee bit. We'll start with the morning news and we'll talk about several different issues. Is what my plan is. Good morning, Oz. Good morning, Sharardi. I'm sure she's in there.
Mm-hmm.
How are you all doing today? How are you, Jensen? Are you doing fine today?
Actually, I'm doing quite good today, to be completely honest. It's my air quotes day off, so I'm just chilling down and enjoying myself. It's actually quite nice and pleasant. So thank you very much.
In other words, the weather is now back to normal British weather, right?
That's the one. Hey, Shirati.
I can tell that you're all perky because it's like, oh, it's normal now. It's no longer hot.
Yeah. Oh, it's warm, but it's not hot. Okay.
Okay, let's get started, shall we? Boom. Okay.
There we go.
First story today, infrastructure bill. Remember, this is an infrastructure bill, folks. Okay. Advanced monitoring systems track a driver's blood alcohol concentration and can prevent the motor vehicle operation. The bipartisan infrastructure bill includes a provision that would require auto manufacturers to equip advanced alcohol monitoring systems in all new cars. Buried in the massive proposal, which is already longer than 2,700 pages, is a section titled Advanced Impaired Driving Technology, which mandates new vehicles include a system that passively and accurately detects whether the blood alcohol concentration of a driver of a motor vehicle is greater than or equal to the blood alcohol concentration of 0.08%, in which case the system would prevent or limit motor vehicle operation. Automobile manufacturer would have a 3-year grace period to comply with the regulation. 3 years. Notice how when they put all these electric car targets, they're 2050, 2040. but now, when they want to do something that's going to jack the price of every single vehicle, all right, coming off the assembly line, all right, which is going to hurt who? The poor. They're going to sit up there and make it. They're going to force you guys to sit up there and force everybody to breathe into their vehicle. All right, breathe into the monitor here. It's one more piece of complicated, nonsensical bullshit, right? That can go wrong.
It can and will get worse. It won't be long before they actually want to take a little stab of your blood and test it. Your DNA. I can't see how the subtle use of someone's DNA could be used in any way, shape, or form.
The provision gives ammunition to Republican critics who say the scope of the bill expands far beyond the bridges and tunnels. Of course it does. Right? He said he would oppose the bill over its subsidies for green energy. No shit, really? Right? And this is the thing about this entire freaking bill. All right? We all know what this is about. We know everybody knows what this is about. Right? They don't give a shit about this. They just want to sit up there and impose things on people. This is where did the Democrats ever say? You're going to tell me that Nancy Pelosi can get into a car? All right. Why don't you make it so that if you're drunk, you can't get into a car? That's coming.
I didn't think she was allowed out in the sun in case she desiccated and withered away. And by the way, Shirati, I completely agree with you. I really do. But I'm going to remind you that there's all of those sites out there that take your DNA and test it. They never tell you what they do with the DNA after, do they?
There's a lot of dumb shit that these people are getting ready to do. Right? And this is the problem with it. You go, oh, we're gonna do an infrastructure bill. There's nothing infrastructure in there at all. You're not going to fix these. You got to. We had a $2 trillion infrastructure bill for shovel-ready jobs in 2008. Only to sit up there and have Obama come back and go, wow, we found that shovel-ready really wasn't shovel-ready. So how do you figure that a $1.6 trillion infrastructure bill, which requires things like this and not infrastructure, is going to do anything to fix the infrastructure? I'm sick and tired of weak-ass Republicans, all right, helping the Democrats lie to the American people.
Yep.
Because that's all it is. If you want to sit up there and do something about some of this stuff, I can understand that. But then actually do something about it. Don't sit up there and go, well, we tried. I want an attaboy because I tried. Don't you understand? I get an attaboy. Where's my attaboy for trying? At least I tried. No. This is nonsense. If you want to know about these electric cars, they're getting more and more reports like this. While they were asleep, their Teslas burned in the garage. It's a risk many automakers are taking seriously. No shit, really? From San Francisco, Yogi and Carolyn Vidum were still asleep late last year when their Tesla Model S beamed an alert that charging was interrupted. 12 minutes after that, they awoke to a blaring car alarm and a fire consuming their home in San Ramon, California. The blaze had started in one of the 2 electric vehicles in the garage and had spread to the other. I mean, it spread to the house, right? It didn't just burn their Teslas right to the ground. If we had lived upstairs in the house, we'd be dead, said Yogi. A retired mechanical engineer. Man, that kid must have frickin' just got tortured in school. I can tell you that right now. I feel sorry for Yogi. If he was named Yogi and didn't change his name to Yogi, which is possible, it is California. But if his name was Yogi, I can see where he might have a lot of problems.
Just imagine the sort of shit show he had the moment it came to dinner time. That's all I'm going to say.
Where's the picnic bag? Anyway, the fire, which has not previously been reported. So it wasn't reported. Is one of a string of recent examples showing what can happen when electric cars are left parked in garages to charge overnight. The standard thing, because they're going to have to get charged at least every day. The issue is causing mounting concern as a number of electric car makers have warned owners not to leave their cars charging unattended in certain circumstances or sitting fully charged in the garage. Automakers including General Motors, Audi, Hyundai have recalled electric vehicles over fire risks in recent years and have warned of the associated dangers.
Jim has just said this happened with Chevy too. So I don't know about this.
GM. Chevy is a GM. Is one of the GM companies.
Ah, okay.
Chevrolet, in fact, it says Chevrolet last year advised owners not to charge their cars overnight or keep them fully charged in the garages. It's recalled more than 60,000 of its Bolt electric vehicles over concerns about the cars spontaneously combusting while parked with full batteries or charging. Well, if you're charging and it starts, if it's fully charged, it shouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah.
How are you starting a fire if it's fully charged? After reports of 5 fires without prior impact damage, the company issued another recall last month covering the same vehicles, with 2 reports of battery fires in repaired vehicles. Tesla's Model S erupted like a flamethrower. All right. this has been happening. All right, not just. And you want to know the bad part about this? This is not This is not just happening in garages. It's not just happening while it's charging. There are people who've been saying that these cars has all of a sudden start smoking when they're driving.
Can't see that being a problem.
Well, what they're trying to do, okay, is they're trying to get the maximum, okay, energy density out of these batteries.
Yeah.
The problem with doing that is you have to make the battery cell, each battery cell, very thin, right? Well, lithium, when it comes in contact with other lithium, likes to burn, all right, under certain conditions. All right, this is one of the reasons why they track all of your computer batteries and cell phone batteries and everything on planes. That's why they ask, do you have any batteries in your checked luggage? Now, and it's brought down planes before, right? But understand this: these batteries, if they get impacted wrong, right? If they come too close together, it can short, and if there's a short, you run the risk of a battery fire.
Just want to say, Oz has said, how bad's burning electric car for the environment? I don't see it being a problem. I think it's a good thing.
Well, there's a lot of toxic chemicals in those batteries. Just put it out there.
Can't see it going badly.
You know, the thing is how much carbon footprint can you say? It kind of depends on how many people get killed in
Yeah.
Right. And they're not saving the environment, let's be honest. Okay.
No.
I have nothing against electric cars. I truly don't. Right. To be honest, ask yourself a question. Why are trains diesel electric? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why don't they just make diesel engines? Why do you connect it then to an electric engine? Right? Well, the reason is because of how you can utilize the power. Right? Electric engines offer certain advantages, especially with torque, all right, that you don't necessarily have with as far as your ability to do things that you have with non-electric engines, right? But this is why you'll see most things are diesel electric, all right, to actually use electric, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a perfect system, all right, but it does sit up there. You can do things with a diesel electric that you can't do with an electric, just an electric car. Now, why do they use diesel? Why do trains use diesel? Diesel's worse for the environment, so they say.
I just want to read one thing. Doku has said, new study finds toxic byproducts from batteries help kill off carbon-based life forms, thus reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Do you know, he may be trying to make a joke there, but watch out for it, people. It may actually be a thing soon. And watch as Babylon B will say something similar.
Well, I'm sure that it will. When it comes into Babylon B, you know it's coming true. But you're not saving the environment with this stuff. The idea that you're reducing carbon footprint is stupid.
Yeah.
You can argue about these things all the time, but it is what it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now there are advantages. There's a reason why they don't use diesel electric in cars. The main reason is weight. Okay. The weight of these electric engines, you're not worried about weight with a train when you bulk up like that. But when you're talking about a car, it's a little bit different, right? Weight is your enemy. In the surprise to no one category.
Good timing. His murder's
Chicago
just
police
spoke.
accused of wrongfully raiding another home. A black family is suing the Chicago Police Department for allegedly breaking down their door and pointing guns at two children before attempting to cover up that they had no evidence for the raid. The Winters family filed a lawsuit Tuesday for police, again, for wrongfully raiding their home, which has reportedly become a frequent occurrence for people of color in the city. I have a feeling it's become a frequent concern of a lot of people. You know, this is what's going to start happening when you don't get your kids vaccinated. On the night of August 7th in 2019, the children, two girls aged 4 and 9, were reportedly sitting, oh, goodness me, on the bed when police charged into the room without warning or warrant. Police pointed their guns at the sisters' father, Stephen Winters, whose back was later knelt on by a police officer with a gun to the back of his head. Another officer charged into the girls' room, pointed a flashlight and a gun at them. And a third officer pointed a gun at the children's sleeping grandmother or grandfather. Your grandfather was, get on the ground! Get on the ground! Surprised they didn't shoot him for snoring.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a bang. It sounded like a bang. That was just Grandpa snoring. They shot Grandpa. The incident was reportedly left the children with lasting trauma in the forms of nightmares, bedwetting, trouble sleeping, decreased appetite, crying fits, and fear and distrust of the police. We don't know why. The police department reportedly tried to cover up the incident by claiming that they saw or heard a suspect run into the apartment. But these claims were proven false by the body cam footage that Al Hofeld Jr., the family's attorney, acquired through an open records request. The city has yet to release body cam footage of the incident. They do not show anyone entering or exiting the plaintiff's building or the plaintiff's apartment. Well, that doesn't mean anything. All right. Yeah. The lawsuit said, according to the AP, officers did not find any sign of any suspect that had entered. Officers did not arrest anyone. The terror and stress to this innocent family was all for naught. However, this is not the first incident where police have reportedly used excessive force in a botched raid. Police in Chicago have reportedly been plagued by false raids against people of color. In February 2019, a woman's home was wrongfully raided when she was handcuffed naked for 30 minutes. Police later discovered that they had the wrong home and attempted to prevent the release of body cam footage.
Oops.
Now, I'm going to say something about the body cams, all right? If you're a police officer, all right, and I was never a fan of body cams. I'm still really not, all right, to a degree, all right? The problem with body cams is when people just make regular mistakes that turn tragic. Because when you're a police officer, that's going to happen. Not it might happen. No, it will happen. Okay. And the body cams are going to show people you making a mistake. And if you think the body cams are, well, yeah, these are great things. They should be on all police officers. They should be on there all the time. Okay, well, how about your job? Do you want your job to sit up there and have a body cam that is subject to public scrutiny in every opportunity? Would you like to carry around a body cam wherever you go? Well, they're police, I'm saying. Right? I'm just pointing this out. Now, when it comes to raiding homes and doing stuff like this, right, the problems start coming in there. They're not telling. You notice how they haven't talked about certain things. They didn't ask if the police knocked at the door. Did the police just break in the door? Chicago streets and addresses are stupidly similar in the two places that can be across the city. That's how the city's set up, and it's bad. No, but in this case, this isn't this case. I mean, we're talking specifically about this case where they said that they saw a suspect run into the building, right? Mm-hmm. I assume that this is an apartment complex and they were going door to door. Is that a bad assumption?
Sounds reasonable, to be honest.
Right. Now, if they're going door to door, knocking on the door, have you seen anyone? Did you see anyone? Right. Now, unfortunately, the tragedy possibilities multiply. Because you notice how they said things. Oh, they didn't have any reason for going in here because they didn't, there's nothing on the body cams that shows that somebody went inside of there. Okay. But that doesn't mean that they didn't think that he did, or she did, or whatever suspect they were pursuing did.
Yeah.
Right. And as far as the guns being drawn, well, what was that from before? Was that from a shootout that just happened? Right. Because it doesn't. Here's my problem here: is we're not being told things about this story. Did the police knock, or did they just start kicking in doors? We don't know.
True.
I'm not going to sit up there and say that the police are always innocent, because they're not. But have you noticed something else? That the problems in these police departments always seem to be in big cities. I wonder why. Could it be the corruption in the big cities?
Nah.
People always talk about the corrupt freaking county sheriff, out there in rural Alabama and rural Georgia. You ain't from around here, are you, boy? Right? The old stereotype like that. Right? The old racist county sheriff. Okay. Well, what's going on here? Is this a racist county sheriff? No, Chicago Police Department. Did they tell you what color the officers are? No, but it's happening to people of color more often. Yeah, I wonder why. Wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that people of color are ignoring criminals in their midst. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be that the people of color are not telling the police, hey, yeah, that scumbag you're looking for is right over there. Have you seen the act that goes on? I'll take pictures of 4 different ones and you can drive yourself insane to tell them apart, especially the normal ones. No, I believe you.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. I was never I'm not doubting that at all. I'm just pointing out the fact that we don't know enough about the story to know what else was going on. And what bothers me is they don't include it. You've had time to include the story. You've had time to sit up there and include the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this.
Oops, I accidentally clicked on it. It was a mistake, honestly, Governor.
I don't really care. All right. 64% of unvaccinated Americans say the COVID shot is ineffective against variants. Poll. Okay, now, you look at that story and you're like, no shit. The unvaccinated don't believe that the shot works. Okay. That's a no shit. But the reason I'm doing this is because it shows what you're going to have to overcome. Right? This is what the CDC is going to have to overcome if you want to get more people vaccinated. Because when you say that over 2/3 of the people are saying, no, that shot doesn't work, why am I going to get it? You get looking at them and going, I'm the expert, and I tell you it's effective when you were forced to admit that the Delta variant, all right, doesn't seem to be stopping the COVID. The COVID shot doesn't be stopping the Delta variant at all. Where everyone's talking about a booster shot, where good old Boris had to get his third shot now. How effective is this against the supposed variants here? Which goes to another problem. All right. How effective is it actually? We never did know. We only had to rely upon people saying, yeah, they're telling us that these things are 94% effective. In what way? And I've really got questions about this stuff. Now, how are you gonna convince me, all right, that this is effective? What are you going to show me? You have to show me, all right, real evidence now. And you know what the CDC is not doing? They're not showing any evidence, are they? Many unvaccinated Americans, 64%, believe that the COVID-19 shot is ineffective against variants, including the rapidly spreading Delta variant, according to a poll from the Associated Press's Norrick Center for Public Affairs Research. Health officials say the Delta variant has caused 83% of the new cases in the country, the AP reported. In comparison, though, to those not confident of the vaccine's protection, 86% of the vaccinated Americans have some belief in the vaccine's effectiveness in the face of the variants. Out of the unvaccinated Americans, the survey in the poll, 35% said they would probably not get the shot, while 45% were sure that they never will.
Who can we think that
aren't going to get the shot?
Who can we think that might be, refusing to get the shot and are planning to never get it? I just can't think of who that could be. I wonder if Sharati could think of anybody. No.
Well, you know, the lowest population group, according to the CDC, is black people. Blacks, for some reason, have this, disdain and how do I put this? Distrust of government shots. We don't know why. We really don't understand that. And yet, if you go on Twitter and you say that these shots don't work, what's the first thing they say? You're never Trumpers, or you Trumpers, and you don't know what you're doing. You're a bunch of freaking cult members. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. I want you to go in a black community and tell the black community they're a bunch of Trumpers. Go ahead. Tell them they're a bunch of idiots and that they need to get the shot. Just walk on in there and start talking. Go ahead. Harlem's right down the street from most of you idiots.
Just think of it this way, MC. Like the good Dr. Fauci actually said, America, you need to just shut up and do what you're told.
Yeah. Only 3% said they will definitely get vaccinated, and 16% said they probably will get their doses. No. What they said, what you heard there was 3% may get it. 16% probably won't. And 80% said go pound sand. That's what they're saying in this survey. I'm telling you. That's what this really means. Look, like I said, how are you going to convince people that the shot works, let alone that the disease is deadly? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the disease doesn't kill, but how many Americans supposedly have come down with the disease already?
True.
Right. I mean, it's in the hundreds of millions, right?
Yeah.
In America, it's hundreds. That's a good question. Let's go to the Drudge Report. Why are you doing Drudge? Because there's a reason. Because down here, they have the World Sick Bank. Right? The Drudge Report has some interesting stuff in it for those who don't know and don't follow Drudge. Right? And a lot of people like Drudge, and then when he went off the rails and became a leftist, and he did go off the rails. Right? Well, it's true that he did go off the rails. But the thing is all right. So 30. I guess it's 35. 35,334,000 cases. Okay, according to these guys. Look, the world's red. I think it's pretty much red everywhere, except for Canada. Canada's not red. Nobody lives in Canada. Right? Sorry, but nobody lives in Canada.
No, you're not wrong. In fact, honestly, I reckon if you actually got a proper map of Canada, those dots that you can see are actually the major cities, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. Although, they have Toronto down here, and I don't see them.
Yeah.
I think they're playing some silly, what they're doing is playing silly buggers.
Yeah.
Look, we'll put a dot here and dot here and dot here.
Oh, I've worked out, and so you can actually check how truthful it is. Check out China. That place should be absolutely clear. After all, China never does anything wrong. Oh, Jesus Christ, I wasn't. Oh, I was joking. Oh, God. Yeah, I was kidding. But I was also right. Wow. Yeah. I'll just be
They show
quiet
more
now.
cases in Japan. What do you think on that?
Oh, dear.
Italy's still at 4 million, all right, 100,000 deaths. Notice how the deaths, if they haven't been rising, they've been rising, but not to the degree that is before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is that? Well, the main reason is because, quite frankly, people have learned how to treat the disease.
Yeah.
It's not a death sentence anymore. Right? It's not a death sentence. It's not going to be.
You say that, okay. It's not a death sentence unless you get the Sino vaccine, at which point you're screwed. Let's be fair.
Well, you were talking about China. China's Steel City has its worst outbreak in years grows. What? China's worst coronavirus outbreak since the start of the pandemic a year and a half ago escalated Wednesday with dozens more cases around the country. Dozens, sealing off one city and punishment of its local leaders. Since the initial outbreak, what are you punishing the leaders for? How are they going to do it? You will stop here? Now the country is on high alert as the outbreak of cases connected with the international airport in the eastern city of Nanjing, all right, touched at least 17 provinces. China's reported 71 new cases of COVID-19 from local transmission Wednesday, more than half of them in coastal Jiangsu province, which is Nanjing is the capital. In Wuhan, the central city where the first COVID cases were identified in late 2019, mass testing has shown that some of its newly reported cases have a high degree of similarity to cases discovered in the Jiangsu province. Those cases have been identified as being caused by the highly transmissible Delta variant that first was identified in India, while another COVID-19 hotspot was emerging in the city of Zhangjiari, near the scenic area of Hunan province, famous for the sandstone cliffs, caves, forests, and waterfalls that inspired the on-screen landscape in Avatar films. Really? Okay. The city, with a population of about 1.5 million, ordered residential communities sealed Sunday, preventing people from leaving their homes. In a subsequent order on Tuesday, officials said no one, whether a tourist or resident, could leave the city. The government's Communist Party Disciplinary Committee on Wednesday issued a list of local officials, all right, who had a negative impact on pandemic prevention and control work who would be punished. Negative impact, huh? Yeah, I kind of wonder about that, don't you? Let's pull up this one. Law professor who had COVID-19 sues over university's mask testing mandates. A George Mason University law professor has sued the university leadership in a federal court over its reopening policy, alleging that its requirement that unvaccinated employees wear masks on campus and submit to COVID-19 testing violates his constitutional rights. Todd Zawicki, who has taught at the Antonia Scalia School of Law since 1998, said in a lawsuit filed Tuesday in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia that the policy is unmistakably coercive and that an unlawful mandate that places unfair additional burdens on unvaccinated employees who come on campus. Because he tested positive for COVID-19 antibodies after a bout with the virus last year, there's no compelling governmental interest in overriding Professor Zawicki's personal autonomy and constitutional rights by forcing him, in essence, to either be vaccinated or suffer adverse professional consequences, the complaint asserts. Zawicki is represented by lawyers at the New Civil Liberties Alliance, a non-profit civil rights firm founded in 2017 that aims to protect constitutional freedoms from violations by the administrative state, according to its website. In other words, we're going to do what the ACLU claims it does. The lawsuit claims Zawicki's doctor advised that receiving the vaccine won't give him any additional benefit due to the presence of antibodies and would expose Zawicki to a heightened risk of adverse side effects. True. Okay. George Mason's policy, which stopped short of requiring all employees to be vaccinated in order to be on campus, said workers who do not disclose their vaccination status to the university may face disciplinary action, including unpaid leave or possible loss of employment, according to the complaint. Additionally, employees who do not disclose their vaccination status are not eligible for merit pay increases. The university did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Zawicki appeared to be the first faculty member of the U.S. university to sue over masking and social distancing requirements for the unvaccinated. At least 5 universities have been sued by students challenging their COVID-19 vaccination mandates. A federal judge in Indiana in July declined to block. All right. In other words, I don't want to hear this. All right. A decision the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals upheld. Yeah, we don't want to hear it either. That's what this is. We don't have judges anymore. We got political activists.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they're not even trying to judge. They're too busy scared for their lives. They're too busy. They don't want to make the tough decision. Why are you a judge? Now, if you don't want to be a judge, step down. If it's beyond you to make the tough decisions, to actually look at somebody and say, look, I know that you think that this is harmful. I know that you want the state, you don't want to tell the state that you think that this is harmful, but you can't do this. We have a constitution that says you can't do this.
Yeah, okay, I can't hold it in, I'm going to have to say this. It's a bit of a side topic, I have to say, but you're making about the judges. Honestly, how can you say that with the fact that SCOTUS, who are supposed to be like the top people when it comes to judges, are basically as feckless as used bog roll?
Oh, I agree. I totally agree with you there. They're even worse. They're as bad as the rest of the justices. The head rots from the fish rots from the head. It's very true, right? It's very true because you take a look at our justices, Supreme Court justices. What did they do? They did the same thing. They punt every chance that when it really becomes controversial, they'll punt. They punt every freaking seriously controversial subject that comes in front of them. And the reason that they do it is because they're a bunch of freaking cowards. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be. I had one person step up and say, "Yeah, I didn't take this case on, or I didn't want to investigate this because, it could lead to a civil war. I'm worried about it leading to a civil war." That's not what's going to lead to the civil war. It's the fact that you're not doing your job is what's leading to the civil war in this country.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't want to stand up for the rule of law. Now you have a situation where the Supreme Court made a ruling, right, and it's getting ignored by the federal government, and everyone thinks it's fine. Personally, all right, I would sit up there and walk on this campus and sit up there and they say, you got to have a thing. I'm not going to get it. Well, we're going to arrest you. You can go ahead and arrest me. I'm not going to pay the fine. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to walk out. And the reason is because why? The rule of law doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't have rule of law in the country anymore. You're watching it happen, and the media just sits there and, well, I mean, it's a leftist thing. You got to understand. We on the left, we don't believe in laws. We believe in a rule of force. The country's devolving in a rule of force, and the media is just sitting there ignoring it. You people talk about these reporters. Oh yeah, reporters we have to be protected. You guys are having a war on reporters. Really? Well, what do you care? Rule of law doesn't matter. We have a constitution. You don't have any constitutional anything. If you don't have a rule of law, if you don't have a respect for the rule of law, and you leftists don't, what makes you think that anyone else is going to have the respect for the rule of law? You're going to end up with this. Now, I'm going to read this story, but I've got some questions. Coronavirus: Cuba dumping corpses in people's backyards, losing bodies in mass graves. I don't know how you lose a body in a mass grave.
Because the body gets up and walks off. I mean, what's the problem? Body gets up, walks off. Of course you're going to lose it. What do you expect?
Independent outlets published videos this week showing cemetery workers in Cuba dumping suspected Chinese coronavirus victims in mass graves, sometimes with individuals who did not test positive for the pathogen, as the island again breaks record for single-day deaths. Now, I'm going to read that again. Sometimes with individuals who did not test positive for the pathogen. I wonder who these people could be. Do you got a clue? In at least one large central city, residents say party officials were so overwhelmed with the bodies of the dead that they began to bury corpses in private yards of local families without consent, as the communist regime does not recognize private property outside the control of the Castro family, and littered the city with bodies to the point that locals cannot escape the smell of decomposition in their homes. Cuba's public health ministry revealed Wednesday that 98 corona patients had died in the previous 24 hours, among them a 3-year-old girl. She died of the coronavirus. What about the bullet in her head? No, that has nothing to do with it. She was a coronavirus victim. Trust us. I'm telling you right now, they are killing people in mass, all right, to put down these. Are the protests are continuing? Nope. What do you think stopped the protests? Okay.
I think, honestly, mate, if you want to know what stopped the protests, it was being put in the mass graves. After all, no one necessarily said they had to be dead before they were put in. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. Coronavirus, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Hero Obama holds super spreader event on climate change endangered property to show people what not to do. Is this guy great or what? According to sources in Martha's Vineyard, former President Obama is throwing a huge birthday bash with 700 guests. It's been pared down now, supposedly. All right, at the seaside mansion that will likely be underwater due to climate change any minute now. As a way to show them, the American people, what not to do in a pandemic in a country affected by climate change. As always, Barack Obama is showing the way by doing the exact opposite, said the NBC anchor and global megastar Chuck Todd. Once again, the chosen one has seen fit to bathe us in the warmth of his glory and light. We look to our great hope as the purest, most muscular, most cool example of all things one should be never do during a pandemic on a coastal city affected by sea level rise. Thank you, sir, from all of us, the American people. Chuck Todd then jumped out the window to his death. Just having found out that he wasn't invited to Obama's birthday party.
MC, you might want to take note of this. Apparently, it's been cancelled. Now they're just asking for money to expand on the library.
Yeah, let me tell you
Yeah.
something right now. He's his library is another freaking fiasco, right? It's another boondoggle where he's just making millions and millions of dollars doing nothing except for trying to ruin the country, right? The man is a disgrace, right? I have nothing but disdain for the individual. All right, I mean, I understand. I can't argue with his political chops, okay? But to be honest, he's a disgrace. The man is not. He's an anti-American globalist bigot, okay? And he is riding the wave of the media, all right, hiding the kind of malfeasance that he's done, and he's looking for his third term, right? As soon as he can figure out a way to get Susan Rice in there. Fire destroys cabin of New Hampshire man forced out of the woods. Oh, so this is a different story, so just bear with me. For almost 3 decades, 81-year-old David Lidstone has lived in the woods in New Hampshire along the Merrimack River in a small cabin adorned with solar panels. He has grown his own food, cut his own firewood, and tended to his pets and chickens. But his off-the-grid existence has been challenged in court by the property owner, who says he's been squatting for all those years. And to make Lidstone's matters worse, his cabin burned to the ground on Wednesday afternoon in a blaze that is being investigated by local authorities. Now, we're gonna get into this because I'm gonna tell you probably what happened. Lidstone, or River Dave as he is known by boaters and kayakers, was jailed on July 15th in a civil contempt sanction. He was told he would be released if he agreed to leave the cabin, but he stayed put. You came with your guns. You arrested me. You brought me in here and you got all my possessions. You keep them, Lidstone told the judge in a court appearance Wednesday morning. I'll sit here with your uniform on until I rot, sir. Lidstone is accused of squatting for 27 years, all right, in the cabin on private property in Canterbury. The wooden 2-level A-frame cabin had a small cluttered kitchen with pots hanging from the ceilings, some appliances. It sounds like the AP was pretty aware of this cabin, all right, layout, all right, that was before it burned to the ground. Just putting it out there. All right, the wooden 2-level A-frame cabin with, some appliances, curtains on the windows. His porch had a footstool with a base made of stacked beer cans. He converted a wood stove into a beehive. He attached lights, a mirror, and a pulley for a clothesline to logs supporting the cabin. There were piles of firewood. Nearby was a gravel path leading to a vegetable garden, plots outlined by logs, and some berry bushes. Lidstone got his water from the stream. All right. Now, so this guy is squatting on land that he doesn't own, all right, and it's somebody else's. Now, here's the first question I have for Mr. Lidstone. Why didn't you move and set up your cabin, okay, on federal land? Then you'd have a case here, okay? Then I could let it go, all right? But if you're on somebody else's property and squatting and they tell you to move, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Now, that being said, what happened to his cabin? Let's be honest. They arrested this guy in July. And so for 2 weeks, the cabin was just sitting there without anybody taking care of it. It's a cabin in the woods on a river, all right, that's well known, and everybody knows that this guy's been arrested.
MC, what you're telling me is he had a Tesla and it caught fire. I understand completely now.
No, I'm saying that a bunch of stupid freaking teenagers went in there and raided his house.
Fair.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you're going to find out that some jackass teens. I mean, that's what teens do. We have a party place, man. This guy, he's not getting out anytime soon. Let's go party at old Dave's place. It even has electricity. Hey, dude, give me the bong, dude. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Things look like they're on fire out there, man. Oh, shit. Let's hightail it. Get in your freaking kayaks and go down the river.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see nothing. Didn't see nothing, man. Oh, yeah, we saw the smoke. We don't know what that was. That's what I think happened. Okay. Could be wrong. Florida. Well, we have a number of Florida stories. Absolutely sickening. Florida man admits animalistic molestation of an 8-year-old girl. On Monday, August 2nd, detectives from the Polk County Sheriff's Office of Special Victims arrested a Lakeland man after their investigation determined that he had inappropriately sexual contact with an 8-year-old. Now, they just had, and remember, this is just the group that yesterday arrested they reported arresting 17 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who was in contact with an 8-year-old whom he had custodial access to. 32-year-old Eric Rowe is charged with sexual battery by a custodian and lewd and lascivious molestation. The crime such as this is absolutely sickening. The victim is so young and the perpetrator is in a position of trust. He was someone that the child should have been able to look up to. We are going to do everything we can to hold him accountable and make sure that he does not have access to victimize a child again. There's only one sure way to do that. All right? There's only one sure way to do that. The victim's mother reported that she believed that Rowe left with a firearm and was acting suicidal. At about 4:30 p.m., they located Rowe at the Gator Creek River Reserve and in possession of a firearm and ammunition. During an interview with detectives, Rowe initially admitted to molesting the victim approximately 5 times, beginning when the victim was as young as 4 years old. Just shoot him. Oh, look, he resisted arrest. Oh, he's got a gun.
He's coming right for us. Bang.
Sometimes body cams work against you, folks. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm. Shirati, you're saying shoot him in the head. I'm going down about 3 foot.
Just kill him. If there's only one way to stop a predator like that. He molested a girl at who was 4 years old. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
The man is sick.
Man is fertilizer. Let's be fair.
Michigan man kills girlfriend, removes her skin, and lives. This is according to Shirati, right? Lives with a corpse for 7 months. Not according to Shirati, but she's the one who provided the story. Right? Said the prosecutor. In what prosecutors are calling a gruesome case, a 37-year-old Metro Detroit man is accused of strangling his living girlfriend, mutilating her body, and living with her corpse for 7 months. Matthew Gennard Lewinsky, all right, is facing charges of first-degree premeditated murder, mutilation of a body, and concealing a death. This guy's a loon, okay? You folks, there's another one you got to get rid of. Just put it out there. You're going to have to get rid of these people. Is it just me?
No, dude, I completely agree with you. I mean, what a waste of food.
You say food, I say fertilizer, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Tomato, right? Leaked documents show Google fired dozens of employees for data misuse. Really? Google has fired dozens of employees between 2018 and 2020 for abusing their access to the company's tools or data, with some workers potentially facing allegations of accessing Google's user or employee data, according to an internal Google document obtained by Motherboard. The document provides concrete figures on an often delicate part of a tech giant's operations, investigations into how the company's own employees leveraged their position inside the company to steal, leak, or abuse data they may have had access to. Insider abuse is a problem across the tech industry. Motherboard previously uncovered instances at Facebook, Snapchat, and MySpace, with employees in some cases using their access to stalk or otherwise spy on users. They're using the tools exactly as Google meant them to be used.
Mm-hmm.
The document says that Google terminated 36 employees in 2020 for security-related issues. 86% of all security-related issues or allegations against employees, including mishandling of confidential information, such as the transfer of internal-only information to outside parties, leaking to the press. You talked to Veritas. I saw you with a Veritas person. You're gone. 10% of all allegations in 2020 concern misuse of systems, which can include accessing user or employee data in violation of Google's own policies, helping others to access that data, modifying or deleting user data or employee data, according to a document. Huh. None of these people work for Susan, though, right? In 2019, that figure was 13% of all security allegations. Google terminated 26 people in 2019 and 18 people in 2018 related to security incidents. Right? The document told Motherboard granted the person anonymity to speak more candidly about the Google issues.
Look, I'm going to be blunt. The only reason they were arrested, all this happened was one simple reason. They got caught. Otherwise, Google wouldn't have said a goddamn word, and you know it.
Oh, of course they're not. All right. In 2010, fired Google engineer David Barksdale. Fired David Barksdale for leveraging his position as a member of the technical group to access accounts of 4 minors. All right. Barksdale accessed a 15-year-old boy's Google Voice call logs, as well as contact lists and chat transcripts, and unblocked himself from a teen who had cut communications with him, the report added. Gene, what a surprise.
Yeah.
What you did now is if they can get a hold of, if Veritas can get a hold of this leaked document, what they'll do is they have a list of disgruntled employees now that they can now use.
Yep.
Putting it out there. Target to cover workers' college tuition and textbooks. Really? Target announced on Wednesday that it would be covering workers' college tuition and textbooks in a new debt-free education assistance program. The program will allow part-time and full-time workers in the United States to receive debt-free undergraduate degrees, certificates, certifications, free textbooks, and more with no out-of-pocket costs on their first day of work at Target. The program is eligible at more than 40 schools and universities. You know what this is? This is Target saying, we need employees.
Yeah.
This is people saying, well, come work for Target when you go to school for free. This is actually a decent, this is a good deal for people that work for Target. Right? Now, this next part is it. Target is also offering up to $10,000 given out annually for those pursuing a master's degree. Folks, if you're trying to pursue a master's degree and you think that $10,000 is just going to annually is going to cover it, at a university that's charging, $20,000 or $30,000. Sorry. How do you think people are coming out with $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 in debt, all right, from college? Because the universities are asking too much. The company touted the program as the most comprehensive debt-free education assistance program available in the retail industry. Yeah, I would agree. All right, the retail giant plans to invest up to $200 million over the next 4 years, paying the full cost for those going to 250 business-aligned programs. So they'll only pay for those programs that are business-aligned to Target. See, there's always the catch. There's always the catch. Those going for degrees outside the business alliance, in other words, your woke nonsense, right? Like, women's studies, all right, will only get $5,200 sent directly to their school for non-master's degrees. It's still overall, Target is basically saying, "Hey, we'll pay for college." This is something that I've tried to explain to people for a long time ago, because when anybody comes to me and tells me in America, "Well, I just couldn't afford college," you're full of shit. I'm serious. You're full of shit. The programs offered for the poor in this country, all right? If you say you're poor and you can prove you're poor, all right, there are so many programs that will pay for you. You may not go to the college you want, but I guarantee you can go to college and you can get a degree. If nothing else, well, I'm poor. I don't want to go to, I can't go to college. Join the military. They'll pay for it.
Oh yeah.
They'll pay full board for it. Well, yeah, but I don't want to go in the military. Well, that's your choice then. What do you think you're going to get? Anybody who thinks they're going to get out of this thing, scot-free is just nonsense. Okay? This comes from an attitude of, well, school was always free because I didn't have to pay for the school. Yeah, your parents were paying for it in their taxes. I bet your parents don't think that your schooling was free. But you blind, numbed idiots have now got it in your heads that somehow schools just pop out of nowhere, right, and they get paid for by the magical ferryman. Now, Target needs workers. As a consequence, they said, you know what? And they did another thing that this does is, believe it or not, they're getting workers who are going to be loyal to Target by doing this. Right? They're getting employees that will stay with Target so that they don't have a massive turnover. Believe it or not, this is actually a phenomenal opportunity for folks. But the idea in America that you can't afford to go to college, I'm sorry, you're full of shit. Now, how much is that college education worth? That's a different story. Okay? Because you can take a look at AOC, who's got an economics degree from Boston University. And you can see just the fact that this woman has no understanding of, oh God, the economist who has no understanding that math's involved, all right? That you actually have to pay bills.
Dude, she got her degree by cutting it off the back of a cornflakes box. You know it and I know it.
Well, that's about what the degree's worth, let's be honest.
Fair.
Yeah. It is what it is. Now, there's a story here about a supposed amazing painting that saved Bill Murray from committing suicide. If you read the story, it's stupid. So I'm just, for those people who are reading the outer stories here. Jensen.
Wasn't me, I didn't do it. That. Definitely wasn't me, I didn't do it.
This is what America pays for. Okay? Men who ejaculate at least 21 times in a month slash their risk of prostate cancer, right, by a third, Harvard study finds. So porn saves men from cancer.
Hello. Before you go on, MC, how dare you diss the magic fairy dust man?
Maybe he was missed, all right, with a guy ejaculating 21 times a month, all right, that slashed the risk of prostate cancer.
Ouch.
Does that mean if you do it 21 times a day, you've got pretty much no chance of prostate cancer? Is that what they're telling you?
It also means you've got no prostate left.
Research on the links between ejaculation and prostate cancer are inconclusive, but data suggests ejaculation could get rid of the prostate's carcinogens, all right, and lower inflammation and reduce stress.
Well, this explains why all the oldest men are a bunch of old wankers.
It would, wouldn't it?
Very well. Men who ejaculate more often have a lower risk of developing prostate cancer, a new study finds. Researchers from the Harvard University, this is what we pay universities for, all right, analyzed a study or data from nearly 32,000 men and found that ejaculating at least 21 times a month cut the risk of developing cancer by 1/3. The links between ejaculation and prostate cancer are not fully known. However, some believe that ejaculation could get rid of the prostate's carcinogens, lower inflammation, and lead to rest, stress, and better sleep. All of which can reduce the risk of cancer.
Actually, hold on. When it comes to muscles, when you don't use muscles a lot, yeah, obviously the atrophy, but you also get an increased risk of diseases within the muscles, such as cancer. This could be the same thing. You know, you don't use it, it's gonna go rotten and fall off.
Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, women, do your part, save your men.
I just want to make a tiny point here. I don't know if you guys remember, but didn't Biden actually say we're going to cure cancer? Are they trying to say that's why they got camel toe in? You know, I'm just wondering.
Oz, can I correct you, Oz? It's not women do your part; it's women do your men's part and save them.
That's your fair statement. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that Kamala Harris has
actually when you look at the Navy back in the day when you only had men and they were at sea for months on end, none of them died of prostate cancer.
Okay, back to another sick story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The veterinarian pleads guilty to making animal torture porn. On Thursday, a veterinarian in Aventura, Florida, pled guilty to sexually abusing pets under his care and making crush videos where the animals are trampled, stepped on, or smashed to death for sexual gratification. How the hell do you get sexual gratification from this?
People can get sexual gratification from anything.
Yeah.
According to a Department of Justice press release, Prentice Madden, medical director at Caring Hands Animal Hospital, pled guilty to 3 counts of receiving child pornography, 1 count of possession of child pornography, and 1 count of creating crush videos. An illegal form of fetish crush porn involves watching someone stomp on a small animal. Soft crush content such as smashing invertebrates like bugs and snails is legal, but people who are into this sort of crush generally consider the hard kind to be abhorrent animal torture.
So basically, when this guy said he was choking his chicken, he wasn't joking.
Apparently not. In May of 2020, cloud storage company Dropbox tipped the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to 1,667 files that it suspected as child pornography in Madden's account between June 2018 and February of 2020. Madden was first arrested in March following a federal search of his home. The unsealed criminal complaint against Madden reveals that he described sexually abusing dogs with dildos, his hands, and penis. I don't want to.
Why?
Yeah.
This guy
What had happened to what had happened to him?
You only charged him with one count?
What had happened to him in his childhood to make him such a sick and twisted, diseased bastard?
Yeah.
He was sentenced. He faces a maximum penalty of 87 years in jail. Good.
No.
I hate to say this, but good.
No. He should get a maximum sentence of 87 years in a dog's home.
Man was
Not as one of the
beloved.
workers, but one of the inmates.
Man was previously beloved by pet owners and is named in multiple 5-star Yelp reviews for the animal hospital Caring Hands. At the time of his March arrest, clients were shocked to hear that he had been charged. Now that details of the abuse are public, some dog owners went to Caring Hands and are trying to figure out if their pets were among the abused. Yeah.
Yes, this is where my favourite form of execution should come into play. Death by trebuchet.
Just a suggestion. I realise it's probably highly unlikely, but if Omegon is watching, please take note of this guy and mention him at some point. If you want to talk about somebody who needs to be put in the ISO cubes, this is one.
This guy needs to be made internet famous.
I agree.
Final story of the day, folks.
Oh God, the murder days. First of all, you got Zombie Day. Now you've got these.
Well, we had the plague chick ones yesterday. We talked about chewing on people that were, if they have COVID, does eating them make you immune? Well, apparently we can go hunt deer now and have the same result. COVID antibodies found in up to 40% of U.S. deer population, so you have to kill at least 2. Make sure you have a good chance of getting the right.
Kill 3, get even better chances.
Bambi never had these problems. All right, there's new evidence that wildlife are potential breeding grounds for COVID-19, where it could continue to evolve despite control efforts in humans. Between January and March of 2021, the U.S. Department of Agriculture tested 385 white-tailed deer found throughout the states of Michigan, Illinois, New York, and Pennsylvania, where they found detected antibodies for COVID-19 in 40% of the population. Both the National Geographic and Nature reported on Monday. An additional 3 samples from January 2020 also showed antibodies. The data was collected as part of the department's regularly scheduled surveillance of white-tailed deer at the most widely distributed deer species in the United States for a total of approximately 30 million individuals. Their new report, available to read on Biox RxV, right, while awaiting peer review, also said that the infected deer appeared to be asymptomatic. Does not seem to be affected.
Guys, before you do, Doku has suggested sending Omegon the article about that vet on Twitter.
Thing is, deer don't get human diseases, right? So if COVID-19 is now present in the deer and it's going to evolve in the deer, it's going to evolve into a deer strain. It's only going to affect deer.
Well, why do you believe that? The bat didn't, supposedly, right?
Yeah, but that was a bat was eaten, and that means it was allowed to. Yeah, that was a vector for the disease to species jump. Otherwise, it wouldn't have.
This is the first study that shows that deer are passing COVID to each other in the wild. So far, the only other animal known to have contracted COVID-19 in nature are minks. Scientists have previously detected the virus among animals including cats, dogs, otters, lions, tigers, leopards, and gorillas, which were all originated in captivity. Scientists worry that wild animals could become a reservoir of the burgeoning virus and potentially undermine health efforts to control the virus in humans. Plague deer, right? This explains everything. This explains the spikes in January and everything else. Santa is a super spreader. Santa is out there. When Santa comes down that chimney chute, he's there to kill you and your kids.
Ho, ho, ho. Have I got a surprise for you? Achoo!
Thank you for the cookie, little Johnny. I'll just take a bite here. Yeah, go ahead and finish it off. Santa the super spreader.
You want to know why Rudolph has a red nose? And here's your clue.
He'll get you in the can. He'll bomb your ass from Timbuktu all the way to Pakistan. Oh, you better not wait. You better not hide.
Actually,
I'm telling you why Santa Claus is gunning you down.
that could be MC's theme tune. What the fuck are you talking about?
That Santa's coming to town.
No, Santa Claus is gunning you down.
He's here to spread COVID-19 goodness for all.
Rudolph the undead reindeer had a decomposing nose.
So we have plague chipmunks, we have plague deer. What's next?
Well, you've already had the zombie deer last year.
Sure.
And they say that America is God's country. Must be the country God hates then.
I thought God's country was Australia, which is kind of funny.
No, that's Beelzebub's country.
Beelzebub.
Not
Right, Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies.
True. Fair point.
Oh goodness me. Okay, that's all I've got for the day, unfortunately. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this. All right, I may or may not be back to normal tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, and MC, can you stop shouting? You really are scaring my cat.
Well, I'm sorry for your cat. Buy it earplugs.
Yeah, but you've also got to apologise. I think you should apologise. I think you should apologise to my town as well because you deafened them as well.
Well, they can't hear it if I apologize. No, there's no problem.
That's a good point. Yeah,
well, they can if you yell it.
So just type it for me and hand it around, okay? MC says he's sorry for deafening you. What? All right, folks. Unfortunately, I do have to go. So I'll talk at y'all later. Bye.
Do svidaniya, comrades.
Bye-bye, everybody. And thank you for not getting rid of us, Mazzy YouTube. Thank you, Mazza.